It was a wet morning on the island of Sodor. Oliver is on his way to Brendam Docks with trucks loads of ballast. When he arrived, he was very late. "Where have you been, Oliver?" called Cranky. "You should have been here hours ago." "I'm sorry," said Oliver, "but these trucks have been troublesome all morning." "Well, the ship will be delayed at the docks if they miss the tide, with you wasting time with your trucks." Oliver said nothing. Just then, Gemma puffed into the docks.
"Hello, Oliver," she whistled. "The Fat Controller wants to see you about an important job for you."
Oliver felt better and very pleased. Oliver picked up Toad the brake van and set off down the line.
"I wonder what our job will be, Mr. Oliver,"
asked Toad. "We'll find out when we get there," replied Oliver. When Oliver and Toad arrived at the yard, the Fat Controller was waiting for him. "Oliver, a special train of wood is need to be taken to Barrow on the mainland," he said. "Once you deliver it, you must collect a goods train and take it to Brendam Docks." Oliver was excited. He had never been on the mainland for a long time. "It's important, Oliver, that you must deliver that train to the docks safely," added the Fat Controller. "Yes, sir," tooted Oliver. "I won't let you down, sir." On the way to the forest, Oliver started to think about his trip to Barrow on the mainland. "We never been since Douglas saved us from being scrapped," he said to Toad.
"Yes, I know, Mr. Oliver," smiled Toad. "I remember that so well indeed."
Oliver laughed. At the forest, Oliver and Toad collected the trains of wood and set off for the mainland. Oliver puffed through the countryside. The trucks knew they had to behave themselves. "We better be careful while Oliver is here," they said to each other. "Don't upset him. We never know what he might do to get his own back." Ever since Oliver pulled Scruffy apart, they knew they had to be extremely cautious. At last, Oliver arrived at Barrow. He felt very pleased with himself. "Right on time," he said proudly. Oliver was filling his water tank, ready to take the goods train back to Sodor. "I bet those trucks won't be troubles for me," he said to himself. But Oliver didn't realize that the trucks he was going to take back were visitors, and they didn't like traveling with steam engines. They were cross when they saw Oliver backed up to them. "Who's this?" they grumbled. "We want a proper engine, not an old green creature." Oliver didn't hear them. He was coupled up, and he and Toad set off on their trip back to Sodor. Trucks don't dare to play tricks on me. But Oliver spoke too soon. As Oliver puffed past the farms, the trucks had had enough travelling with a steam engine and decided to teach Oliver a lesson. Oliver was nearly at Brendam Docks, but he had to stop at a signal. This was the chance for the trucks. On, they yelled, and gave Oliver a sharp bump. Oliver gasped. Oh, he cried, stop that! But the trucks weren't listening. Oliver's driver tried to brake, but the brakes were useless against the certain trucks. Use your brakes, Toad! Oliver called out. I'm trying, Mr. Oliver, I'm trying, cried Toad. They rumbled into the docks. Oliver and Toad braked hard. Then the coupling between Oliver and the trucks came loose. Toad and the trucks finally stopped, but Oliver shot forward and shut his eyes tight. When the trucks saw Oliver, they laughed. Look, he is playing with the fishes! Luckily, Oliver wasn't hurt. Are you all right, Mr. Oliver? called Toad. I think so, groaned Oliver. But he was worried about the mess he was in. That evening, Doug brought Alex and the workmen to clear up the mess. Then they lifted Oliver onto a well wagon. The Fat Controller came to see him. Oliver thought the Fat Controller would be cross, but he wasn't. Well done, Oliver. You showed those silly trucks not to mess with steam engines, and you managed to get the goods train safely on time, he said. You are a really useful engine. You will go to the works to be mended, then you will have a nice wash down and a new coat of paint. Oh, thank you, sir, smiled Oliver. Well done, Oliver, tooted Duck. Good going, said Alex. Excellent work, added Cranky. You were very brave, Mr. Oliver, cheered Toad. Oliver beamed happily.